And here's why LeBron James makes for the ultimate Democrat. 2 words. Fake victim. So there's so much happening in the news, it's hard to keep up. The news is like Zelensky on an 8-ball. Frenetic and misleading. One observation I have, Democrats are completely lost. They've been so busy lying and distorting reality, forcing an alternative universe on everybody, that it's hard for them to put down the toys and go back to normal. They forgot what normal looks like. And it's one thing that they have a constituency of lunatics.
Are you totally deranged?
But it's another thing that they're totally humorless and unattractive. There isn't a shred of charisma. That's right, no riz. Can't be charming while you're also screeching, screaming, accusing, and whining. I thought they were the party of joy, remember? Do you want to see what the party of joy looks like? You had Trump giving an historic speech.
America is back.
And meanwhile, Congressman Al Green decided to shake his cane. No, I'm not saying that euphemistically. Personally, I hadn't seen stick work like that since the days of classy Fred Blassie. So Green was deported from the room. The rest of the Democrats held up little paddles showing their disgust, and they would like to thank the Washington, D.C. local 4th grade art class for putting that protest together for them. And then the Democrats did this cringy video game character simulation. And again, the Democrats would like to thank the local Washington, D.C. 4th grade art class for putting that together for them. By the way, what the hell is AOC doing in a room with zebra skins? Kinda has that bordello feel to it, doesn't it? Is Al Green her pimp? Democrats don't seem to have any leadership now that Joe Biden is no longer president. Obama was the party, but he can't even keep his wife happy. No one talks about Joe at all. You know, the president who collected the most votes in American history.
Didn't happen.
No, not this time. It's totally made up. Pure fiction. It's fiction. It's fiction.
Yeah, that guy, whose mind was cream of mushroom soup. Yeah, he got all the votes. We were also told again and again that Kamala was in a dead heat with Trump.
Didn't happen.
Totally made up.
It was also seriously teased that Michelle Obama could have run against Trump instead of Kamala because she's so popular. But as we see from the ratings of her podcast,
No,
yeah, she's not popular. And is she a she anyway?
we made it up.
And now a word from this channel's sponsor. Yeah, there's no sponsor.
We made it up.
Why would there be a sponsor for a channel that got 2,400 subscribers?
I don't know. I don't give a shit.
As we know, the only way I would get money with these kind of numbers would be if my channel was associated with the government somehow. No USAID money for me. So only you can help me by liking, commenting, and subscribing. And if you want to sponsor me, go over to Patreon/JokesAndAPoint. Very much appreciated. So looking back at what the media told you is like taking a stroll through the bullshit museum. The media will always tell us that Trump is unpopular or mean or racist or fill in the slur whenever they can. Just look at the Zelensky episode. Zelensky was the one popping off and being disrespectful, but it was still framed as Trump's fault. I mean, really? Zelensky called Vance a bitch.
You know what happens is you bring people.
And George W. Bush called him the modern Churchill. Yes, how very Churchillian of him. Remember when Churchill cursed out our president in the Oval? "We wish to thank President Roosevelt for lying with us in our fight against tyranny, even though I find him to be a monocled bastard, wheelchair-pushing, pampered bitch boy face."
President Trump doubling down now, making a series of claims that seem to echo Russian talking points.
This is from your middle-of-the-road, just the facts local news. You see how they work it in?
Seem to echo Russian talking points.
Seem to echo Russian talking points.
Well, it seems.
They're not saying it was Russian talking points outright, which is code for absolute lies. It's just that it kind of seems that way. Never mind that Trump has been emphasizing over and over and over again that he wants peace first and foremost.
And we want to get that war over with.
That's not Russian talking points. That's American talking points. Zelensky seems to believe the media lies about himself, that he's a tough guy. He doesn't seem to realize that the media is full of shit. And we know he's not a tough guy. He's a thespian shakedown artist. So now we're at least halfway to a ceasefire. But Trump said it would happen day 1. It's day 54. He lied. Yeah, that's right up there with if you like your doctor, you can keep him. The media, of course, won't stop hammering Doge. This confused gentleman doesn't like Doge either.
$1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia. Biodiversity in Nepal? $19 million?
Again, those can be important.
Doesn't he understand that if everybody saves money, he can afford a locksmith for his face? They used to say that cutting senior benefits was a third rail in politics. But now I guess cutting anything is a third rail in politics. The BLM rioters are rejoicing. They're having a reunion party at Tesla factories. They got something to do again. Trump and Musk are threatening the victim industrial complex. We always thought that the welfare queens were bad, but we should have paid more attention to the bureaucrats.
They're penetrating the bureaucracy!
It's even more disturbing to find out what's actually happening in the National Security Agency chat rooms, discussing fetishes and kinks and orgies. Turns out there's a whole CIA++ community out there. Something is finally being done to expose what we suspected all along, that there's tons of corruption and we're sick of funding it. It's like seeing an ant in your house. If you see one, chances are there's a whole colony in there. But he's being stopped by anonymous bumblefuck judges in leftist hubs. The latest leftist hero was a judge in San Francisco, stopping layoffs. Maybe you should concentrate on the actual crime problem over there. Maybe change up that 100 strikes and you're out policy. The media will follow their MO and be consistent in lying to you every step of the way. It's amazing, the people who specialize in being hated and distrusted are going to be the ones who constantly tell you who to distrust and hate. But through this dynamic, Trump is forcing education on the American citizen that they otherwise wouldn't have. For instance, the media loves to beat up Trump over Canada. No one seems to notice that we have a Canada First policy. The US represents 20% of their GDP, and Canada represents about 1% of our GDP. And now Canada's talking tough with us. How very Zelensky-like. I know that Canada's big on assisted suicide, but I didn't think they wanted it for their economy. When Trump says the things he says, he forces you to do research. Trump said that Canada doesn't allow US banks to go in.
If you think about it, that's pretty amazing. If we have a US bank, they don't allow them to go in. Canada's been very tough on oil, on energy. They don't allow our farm products in, essentially.
Of course, leftists start screeching, there are American banks in Canada. What is he talking about? But then you learn in a generalized sense he's right. They do make it extremely tough for US banks, but we're quite open to them. Will Trump succeed? I certainly hope so. I don't know what the Democrats will be planning for their opposition. There is actually one way of knowing, and that is to get information from the local Washington, D.C. 4th grade art class.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe. Be sure to pass around to anybody who might like my content. And I'll see you the next time.